So as many of you probably know, there's kind of a tradition for presidents to sit down for an interview before the Super Bowl, and Donald Trump partook in that tradition, and his interview was absolutely embarrassing. You know, say what you want about Joe Biden. He was showing in his old age, and that stutter seemed to come back as time caught up with him. But at least when he sat down for interviews, he would actually address the question that was being asked of him. Donald Trump, on the other hand, is a Rolodex of terrible ideas, and anytime he is asked a question, he kind of comes back to the same broken talking points. And then every once in a while, you kind of find that scratch on the record, and Donald Trump says something absolutely absurd. So let's go ahead and take a look at this first question, where Brett Baier is asking Trump, well, do you view J.D. Vance as your successor? I was not expecting this answer, let's just say.
Do you view Vice President J.D. Vance as your successor, the Republican nominee in 2028?
No, but he's very capable. I mean, I don't think that I think you have a lot of very capable people. So far, I think he's doing a fantastic job. It's too early. We're just starting.
But by the time you get to the midterms, he's going to be looking for an endorsement.
Yeah, a lot of people have said that this has been the greatest opening, almost 3 weeks, in the history of the presidency.
It's definitely been the fastest and the most stuff happening.
Well, we've done so much so fast, and we really had to, because they have really, what they've done to our country is so sad. It's so sad. We're going to be bigger, better, and stronger than ever before.
He moved off that question pretty damn quick and then went in, oh, well, who is telling Donald Trump that this has been the best first 3 weeks of a presidency that anybody's ever seen before? Donald Trump is an embarrassment of a president, and I was not expecting him to say that J.D. Vance, nah, I don't think he's going to be my successor. Nah, I don't think... The only reason I think Donald Trump actually mumbled out this answer is because Donald Trump probably wants to be a king. He probably wants to serve a third term, kind of like that idiot's congressperson tried to put up that amendment for the Constitution. Donald Trump is probably wanting to serve a third term. It's probably why he didn't want to say, yeah, J.D. Vance could probably take the reins after I'm done with my second one. Who knows? But either way, pretty wild stuff from Donald Trump here. He then goes on to say that Canada stole our automobile industry. What in the world is this dude even talking about?
Not going to do that. We're going to put big tariffs on those cars. I don't want those cars. We can make those cars right here. You know, if you look at Canada, Canada has a very big car industry. They stole it from us. They stole it because our people were asleep at the wheel. So what happens is Canada is going to have our cars. We're going to take the car industry. If we don't make a deal with Canada, we're going to put a big tariff on cars. Could be a 50 or 100% because we don't want their cars. We want to make the cars in Detroit.
How is the President of the United States such a babbling idiot? This just shows a complete misunderstanding, lack of understanding of how our trade partnerships work. And let's not forget, we are operating under the USMCA, which is the trade agreement Trump signed in his first term. Canada did not steal our automobile industry. There is no reason to even think that. What is he talking about? It's not always good to do everything in our own country. Protectionism has proved to be a loser in a global scenario. Donald Trump is an absolute idiot. It is good that we trade with not only our allies, but even people like China. It gives us a shared incentive to work with one another. It's not always about doing everything for ourselves. In fact, it is better that we have free trade agreements because that frees up our people to do more high-value stuff. Donald Trump just lacks the fundamental understanding of why free trade agreements and trading with other partners is actually a good thing. He is so bought into this American protectionism that it is just so frustrating that he has no understanding of why it might be beneficial for us to outsource some of our manufacturing. That's not to say that we don't have manufacturing here, because we do. But we work out all of these agreements for a reason, because they're either providing benefits to the consumer with lower prices, or we moved on and are manufacturing different things and giving different jobs that way. It just, how can a president be so goddamn stupid? It just boggles my mind. Let's move on to Donald Trump talking about Gaza. This is disgusting.
Things terrible. Everyone leaves. They go back. This has been going on for forever, right? Forever. Now it's essentially a demolition site. There's practically no building that's livable in the whole thing, on the whole Gaza Strip. I say we go in, we knock them all down. We just create some. No more Hamas. There's no Hamas there. There's nobody there. We move them into beautiful areas of the Middle East. I'd like to go to Egypt. They have a lot of land. I'd like to go to Jordan. I'd like to go to others. And we'll build beautiful communities for the 1.9 million people. We'll build beautiful communities, safe communities. Could be 5, 6, could be 2. But we'll build safe communities a little bit away from where they are, where all of this danger is. In the meantime, I would own this. Think of it as a real estate development for the future. It would be a beautiful piece of land.
Would the Palestinians have the right to return?
Spent. No, they wouldn't. Because
what Donald Trump is talking about is forcibly displacing 2 million Palestinians. And he thinks that, Jordan is going to take them, Egypt is going to take them. And then he goes on to say that, no, they wouldn't have a right to return. You know what we call that? We have a name for it. It's called ethnic cleansing. That is what Donald Trump is talking about here. The Palestinians live in Gaza. That is their homeland. To think that we're just going to just shuffle them around the Middle East because Donald Trump wants a big real estate deal is absolutely absurd. Donald Trump is a pathetic human being. Again, it just goes to show that he can only think in these very black and white terms. Oh, real estate here, real estate, we can develop this and that and that. And it's just so transactional. It is so disgusting from the President of the United States. We should not be in the business of advocating for ethnic cleansing and forcibly displacing millions upon millions of people so Donald Trump can do a fucking real estate deal. Give me a goddamn break. I am so irritated by this whole line of thought when it comes to Gaza. Let's go ahead and move on to Ukraine, where it doesn't get much better. Again, Donald Trump just showcasing his very transactional nature.
I want to have our money secured because we're spending hundreds of billions of dollars. And, they may make a deal, they may not make a deal, they may be Russian someday, or they may not be Russian someday, but we're going to have all this money in there. And I say, I want it back. And I told them that I want the equivalent, like $500 billion worth of rare earth. And they've essentially agreed to do that. So at least we don't feel stupid. Otherwise, we're stupid. I said to them, we have to get something.
How much do you want to bet that Donald Trump has no idea what rare earth is? Why do you think he always talks about it in those terms? We need rare earth. We need rare earth. We got to get the rare earth. And to think that Ukraine has agreed to $500 billion, $500 billion in rare earth, seems a bit outrageous to me. We don't provide aid to people so we can go pillage them later. There are some things greater in this world to fight for, things like democracy, things like people being representative and not living under a dictatorship, that is worth fighting for. But because Donald Trump is such a transactional player, he has no idea. He cannot even conceptualize something larger than a real estate deal or a tit for tat. It is just so frustrating because the Ukrainian people are fighting for their territory. They are fighting for their sovereignty right now. And all Donald Trump can think about is, let's go get their rare earth minerals or whatever the hell he thinks he's talking about. Ukraine is a sovereign country. They are fighting for their sovereignty. They are fighting against a tyrannical dictator. and Donald Trump is talking about striking up some deal. It is absolutely disgusting. It's absolutely pathetic that a president of the United States cannot think beyond his own transactional deals. There are some things in this world that are worth fighting for. Sometimes it's not always about the immediate carnage that is currently taking place. Sometimes it is better to stand up against the tyrant and fight back. But Donald Trump just simply can't even conceptualize in his little pea brain what a greater good or a bigger idea might actually be. We'll go ahead and end things with a little levity here. Donald Trump is again talking about that weave. He is so proud of this idea of the weave. $50 billion,
but they have other problems. And let's go back over there, because I'm the weaver. I'm the great weaver. You know that,
Trust
right?
me.
Okay? I'm the great weaver.
I get it.
Somebody said, oh, he rambled. No. Only the fake news says that. To weave, you have to be brilliant. To ramble, you don't have to be brilliant.
I'll just get back in the weave there.
But I like the weave because it covers a lot of territory, and it covers it much more quickly.
Yeah, when I think of Donald Trump, I think of brilliant. Sheer brilliance. Yeah, no. The weave is an old, demented man who has a Rolodex of bad ideas that he continues to return to, and he has streams of consciousness where nothing makes sense, where he rambles, and then to try to make himself look a little bit more presentable or feel a little bit better about himself, he brands it with the weave. Donald Trump is an old, demented man who cannot put together cohesive, comprehensive, whatever the term is that you want to use. He is not a thinker. He just keeps on returning to the same talking points. He goes back to them over and over again. He's like a broken record, and then he calls it the weave. This is the President of the United States, everybody. Brilliance in every sense of the word. Donald Trump. All right, well, so this was the Super Bowl interview that Donald Trump gave. Like I said, he came back to a lot of the same terrible, terrible ideas, and that Rolodex of bad ideas he continues to return to. But every once in a while, he'll surprise you and say something that is absolutely ridiculous, shows that he is not a brilliant man. He can't think through problems. He can't think through greater ideas than, oh, I'll give you money for that. We gave you money, so you need to give us that. It's all about transactions with this man. He is a pathetic, pathetic excuse for a president of the United States. And as I said before, and I will continue to say, being American is getting much more embarrassing with Donald Trump as our moron in chief. So I will leave it there for now. If you guys got anything out of this video, please do remember to smash that like button and subscribe. Maybe share with a friend or two. I'd very much appreciate that. We have to build something here on the left that can adequately push back against the right-wing media ecosystem that just shovels Donald Trump shit for him on a daily basis. So if you do appreciate the work I do, please do remember to subscribe. If you want to see how Donald Trump tried to suck some attention away from the Super Bowl by giving a ludicrous press conference from his plane, go ahead and watch that video on the screen now. Otherwise, I'll see you guys on the next one.